Hello, this is How To Bob, and I'm going to show you how to change a slide out motor on an RV. Now my first step is to disconnect the battery. Then I'm going to go inside, and most cable driven newer RVs have a slide out motor on top of the slide out right in the center. So I found mine right here, and I'm going to disconnect the power to the motor. It's just two wire nuts that are screwed together. And you want to remember which wire goes to which wire, so when you put the new one in you get it the same way. Next I'm going to loosen the two bolts that are holding this motor in. There's one on here, and then the back one is a little more difficult to get to, so I'm using a ratcheting wrench, and there's very little space up here to work with. And once I get that loose, I can pull that nut out. Now what I did is I put the slide out in about halfway, maybe about a foot from being all the way out, so that I can have some room to work. That's about the best spot. Now I've got it loose. You can see it just comes right out after the two bolts, and there's a little flexible shaft that goes inside the motor. So I'm going to keep that for the new one. You can see it's just a small motor. So I've got my new one here. I'm going to go ahead and set that in there and wire it up first. That way I'll have the wiring out of the way. And I've got new wire nuts, so they will hold a little bit better than the smaller ones that were on there before. I kind of like these a little bit better, so just go ahead and rewire it the way it was wired before. Next I'm going to put my flexible shaft in the gearbox and make sure it's in correctly. It'll only fit in one way. It's a square shaft on each end. You can see I have to put the motor in and rotate it around so that it fits in. Now you can see the motor sagging down, so what I'm going to do is get a towel and prop up the rear of the motor just so that it holds the motor in place while I put the bolts in. And then I'm going to rotate the motor around so that the screw holes line up with the mounting bracket on the gearbox. And then I can go ahead and put my screws in. Once I get my screws in, go ahead and tighten up the screw with my hand first, so I make sure that I don't get it cross-threaded. Then I can go ahead and put in the back screw, make sure they're tight, and then I'll come in with the wrench and tighten it up. Okay, once I get both bolts tightened up, I can go ahead and remove the towel, and I want to get my wires. I'm going to use a zip tie, and I want to get those zip tied out of the way so they don't rub on anything. And that's pretty much how you change out a slide out motor on a relatively new RV. I'm How To Bob. Thanks for watching.